Welcome to a meeting of the Town of Barnstable Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee Operating Budget Subcommittee. Today is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. This meeting is being recorded by the Town of Barnstable and will be broadcast on Channel 8 after the meeting has concluded. If anyone is planning to record this meeting through audio or video or transmit this meeting, please identify yourself to the chair at this time. All right. The agenda for this meeting is available on the town website. So I will call the roll. Lillian?
Here.
Jackie?
Here.
I don't see Chris, but I'll ask. Chris?
Chris just sent an email to me. I think he copied you that he doesn't have the link.
Oh. Did you send him the link, Tom?
Probably he got it, but you may be looking at the wrong email.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I sent that to
have a quorum.
everybody yesterday, I think. Yeah, I know there's confusion, so I emailed everyone what the proper link was.
Right.
I'll send it out again.
I just sent it to him.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Councilor Tamish might be trying to get in. He probably has the wrong link too. See if I can send an email.
I'm here, so we have a
What's
quorum.
confusing is that you sent out an email canceling a meeting.
Yeah, I had set this meeting up twice with two different Zoom
I
numbers.
remember, yeah.
That was my fault. I apologize.
Here comes Craig. Okay.
Is there any public comment? Okay, not hearing any. Mark, I saw that approving the minutes from April 29 and May 2 subcommittee meetings is on the agenda, but I'm not sure I saw in my inbox we got those.
Yeah, I think we did those. No, I didn't send those, so we'll take care of those the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark that as deferred.
And Chris just logged on.
All righty.
All right.
Chris, you're there for attendance purposes? I see you're on mute.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm glad
Good
you
deal.
got it. Thank you.
All righty. So the purpose of this, and welcome Tom and Craig. The purpose of this meeting is to go through the operating budget subcommittee draft report, the latest draft. Mark is going to be kind enough to screen share version 5. We'll walk through it page by page, talk through comments, suggestions, edits that anybody wants to offer. I will then produce a kind of semi-final version. I think Mark and Gareth, we're going to put a couple of numbers together that they're working on now. Once I get all that, I will put together a version 6, and I will get that out to the entire CFAC committee well in advance of Monday's meeting, so that on Monday we can kind of do the final review and hopefully approve the report. So that's the plan, unless anybody has a different idea.
Well, sounds like a splendid plan.
All right.
All right.
Then Mark is screen sharing.
Yep.
And can everybody see that?
Yep.
Is that big enough for people to see?
Is it possible to expand that a bit? Under view, I think.
How's
Yeah.
that?
Great.
Okay.
There we go.
It looks fine.
So the one question I had, Mark, I just want to make sure I just updated the year on the links at the bottom of that page as it's shown. I just want to, at some point, we should just make sure they work.
Yes,
Or maybe you've already
I
done that.
verified those today, Chuck. They do go to the proper links on the web page.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
I will make that, I will erase that note from my version then. I'll delete that thread.
Okay.
And I assume the councilor liaison, that's going to be changed, so it just says Craig Tamish, right?
Right.
Yeah, this
It's-
is a version that shows the markup, but in the unmarked
Oh,
up
okay.
version, It just shows Craig's name.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's like, it seems like a glaring omission there. But
Yeah,
I'm not in it for the glory.
On the contents page, I put a note in the side that I'll finalize this once we have everything finalized. So these are just kind of
Okay.
placeholders for now.
sounds fine.
All righty.
Yep,
Methodology.
yeah. We went through that last time and
Yep. You know,
no
largely,
changes, no changes.
yeah. The only thing we added was the DEI comment that Gareth made at the last meeting. That's up under the first paragraph of fiscally sound. I'm sorry, yeah, under quality of life strategic plan.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
But everything else is pretty much as it was.
Yes.
And Mark and Gareth have gone through and updated the numbers. So I think they're good. And the very last thing at the bottom of that page, again, once we have the page numbers finalized, I'll fill it in.
Right. Okay,
All right.
yep. This
The
again,
next section. The next section is, I'm not sure if everybody's been to one of these subcommittee meetings for. So the next section is a new section. Just to give a general high-level overview and point out a couple of things. So as Lillian said, we have gone through this before. Mark and Gareth have updated the numbers and made sure that the conclusions drawn from the numbers are consistent with the numbers themselves. I did get a comment about whether the Barnstable Police Department is challenged by the same less than positive press that police departments in general have experienced, and whether that's been a hindrance. So I softened the wording, but I didn't take the sentiment out, and that's, you know, people feel strongly that negative press, personal liability, being body cam, those kinds of things are not issues for Barnstable, then I'll remove the sentence.
I think it's
under
nationwide.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's nationwide. I don't think we're any better or worse. In fact, we may be a little bit better, I think, than a lot of other departments go. But it still certainly is an issue. I mean, you just look at the number of people that are applying for the statewide civil service exams, not just Barnstable, and the numbers have dropped dramatically.
Yeah, that comment had come from me, and maybe it's the old reporter in me, but we state this as fact where it's not clear it's fact. So I would simply say, you know, fallouts appear to have hindered something like that.
Sure.
Or the police say that the negative press has hindered, but I'd rather attribute it to a source rather than saying it's a pure fact that's not challenged. That's all.
Would it be better just to leave it out?
No, I think it's fair to put it in that, you know, that many, I mean, the police say this and you know, I don't necessarily disbelieve them. And I agree with you, Craig, that it's probably a nationwide issue. I actually wonder whether on the Cape it might play the other way.
We discussed this last year, and while it was nationwide that the police got a lot of negative reaction from the public, we on the Cape did not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to keep it in there, though. I mean, like Tom said, you certainly could add, you know, it appears to have hindered the recruiting process. Like Craig had said, it is like a national sentiment, not a Barnstable sentiment.
Why don't we say it may have hindered?
Sure.
It may have hindered. That way, yeah, it gives us a little bit more flexibility.
All right.
I'd like to go back up to state aid. State aid is fine, but in the text, should aid be lowercase?
Hang on, Lillian. Where are we?
State aid just above recruiting?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
The question I asked.
yes, so I looked on the, I thought I did a sweep, but I will fix that. On all of the state documents, state aid is capital S lowercase a.
Yeah.
Capital S, lowercase a.
Yeah.
Right.
The state is
Right.
capitalized and aid is lowercase.
Right.
And so I will make a note to make that edit throughout I thought I had it done, but I see what you're talking about. I missed it on the high level.
Okay. Other than that, it looks fine.
All right. On revenue, the numbers have all been updated.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mark and Gareth. They have updated the property tax percentage for this year. And the use of reserves, that number is now accurate as well. It was a placeholder before. So I think the numbers are spot on. If anybody has comments on the verbiage, speak up.
I think the text looks fine.
All right. All righty. On the general fund, similarly, I think I have a bum version of Word. I thought I had the latest version, but like highlighting the last line in the table, I can't get it to gray all the way across. And so I'm going to have to fix that.
It's not your version of Word. If you want, I can go in and fix that.
So Tom, you're saying I'm just a knucklehead, and you would be right, Tom.
No, it took me a long time to figure out how to do that, but you have to just do it on the whole row rather than the language. It's a pretty easy fix.
Okay, I will take a shot at that.
Well, okay, but I'm happy to just do it tomorrow morning.
I will. Okay, what is that? Page 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But other than that, we did clarify. I had a note there, 5.4 versus 8.1, and I did clarify that now in the text. So I'm going to remove that as a comment.
Okay.
Lillian was kind enough to school me on the difference between the two numbers. I just wanted to make sure we were being consistent. So
Scott's not here tonight. Scott's not here tonight. It's his father's funeral. I'll call him. I just reminded everybody out there was looking.
any other comments? Again, any place you see with red, Mark and Gareth have basically updated the numbers. I'm looking at an unedited version, so I'm looking at the screen. So they were kind enough to update the numbers. So I'm comfortable that the numbers are accurate.
No, we have a lot of we have a lot of capitals here. While we're going through it, we might as well just.
Like fines and penalties, you mean?
Yeah.
Is yeah.
No, I'm okay.
I assume that
local receipts, is that I'm Gary. It's 1, 2, 3,
yeah, I see
4, 5.
Is that a
lines
budget
up.
category?
Is that no, I don't think so.
It's not a budget category, then I agree.
It's not a budget, it's not a budget category. So I think it's lowercase l, lowercase r. Because
right.
if you,
Yeah, it's a collection of revenue categories, local receipts. So it includes things like permits, licenses, motor vehicle excise taxes.
Yeah, I think maybe my question is when we refer to something that's a header, a title of a section, I've left it capitalized. The one Lillian's pointing out is not technically in a revenue category, but it is a combination of the ones in the revenue category. So I struggled with, I was just hesitant to make a parenthetical out of everything that went into local receipts because it was just going to add verbiage here, but maybe that's what I need to do.
So do you want to keep it caps or lowercase?
So the lawyer in me would say keep it in caps because it's a defined term somewhere. And I think that's what Mark was saying. It's a defined term. Same with fees, licenses, permits, and fines and penalties. Look to me like they're defined terms so that they mean something as opposed to just colloquial local receipts.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's correct. When you think of general fund revenue, there's three main categories: property taxes, state aid, and local receipts.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. So moving on to the three other items, renewable energy, is that another category that should be capitalized, or does the E goes to lowercase?
Yep, that's I like to plant 3 or 4 of these in here, Lillian, just to make sure you're on your toes. So.
I'm into my capitals and lower cases today.
Nope, I make that change. All right.
Okay.
I think you can go to the next page, Mark.
Yep.
And again, a couple of the numbers have been updated.
Right. The summary is good.
All right.
Aha.
The school department. So Mark said that he and Gareth will put together the numbers. They don't have them right now, but they will put together the numbers for this chart so that both a comparison of and the color codes at the bottom read schools, municipal, and fixed costs. So we're apples and apples.
Thank you.
And
Chuck, one of the things that I've been thinking about is that I wanted to capture not something that was static, which fixed costs I think are static. I wanted to capture something that was more alive, like a department. So to me, the school is a department, and we see where the town is allocating their resources to a department rather than just fixed costs. So that was what I had in mind. That was what I wanted to capture, and not just what were the top expenditures for the town.
all right.
Okay.
I'll open it up. Kind of how do people feel about that?
Well, I'll go up to that. I'll go up to the second paragraph where it says it compares the school department against the budgets of the 2 largest town centers, municipal and fixed costs.
Right.
By the way, 2 should be TWO.
Oh, right.
And those are the 3 largest budget items.
Yeah, that's typically how we present the budget. The three categories. We have your fixed costs, and then your school operations and your municipal operations.
Exactly.
We try to present the budget in those 3 categories at a very high level on an annual basis, and then break it down to more detail later on in the budget and what makes up the municipal operations and what comprises fixed costs. And the school operations, usually that budget is broken down to a lot more detail with the school's budget document by site, by Department of Education code. There's a lot of different ways that information gets presented from a budgetary standpoint, but the three main categories are your schools, municipal, and fixed costs.
In the chart, the fixed costs are labeled employee benefits. And I guess my question is, that's not a separate cost. I mean, there are employee benefits to the schools, there are employee benefits to the police. Shouldn't those be allocated to those departments?
The way we budget employee benefits is we budget it all as part of the fixed cost budget. We don't budget them within each individual department. We used to do it that way about over 10 years ago. We used to prepare our budgets by allocating all the health insurance, for example. Health insurance really is what we did. We allocated that out at the department level, but then we were using a suggestion from a previous finance committee, actually. We consolidated it all into the employee benefits budget and took it out of the department budgets. Because the challenge we had at the department level is we get a small department like the legal operation, which only has 4 staff, and nobody had health insurance. And then all of a sudden, they have somebody that comes on board and replaces a former employee. They pick up the health insurance. We don't have enough money in the budget to pay for the health insurance. And we have to go and do a budget transfer or a supplemental appropriation. By consolidating it all under one budget provides us a greater deal of flexibility to cover situations like that.
All right. So I still would argue that obviously a lot of these fixed costs, employee benefits, are for the schools. So maybe instead of showing fixed costs as your third biggest, I think what people would be looking at is the next two, when they talk about towns cost centers, would be like public works or something like that. Fixed costs, since fixed costs apply to everything, I almost would think that it's the intent here is to show that we spend more on education, we spend on police, or we spend on public works, or we spend on what else?
Yeah, break it down to, you're right, show it at the operational level, direct operating expenses. Yeah, ignore debt service and employee benefits and those other fixed costs. Look at the operating budgets.
I think that the intent of this chart is to show we spend more on schools than we spend on other operating departments. And it's not doing that here.
Yeah, so if we want to do that, then I will change the header to a comparison of schools, police, and DPW. I assume, Mark, those are the big three.
Those are the big three, but we can do all operating departments if you want, or you just want to do the big three. But we can do all the operating departments. I think there's about 10 of them all together: administrative services, community services, marine and environmental affairs, town managers, so forth. We'll do it
when I plotted them, when I plotted the other departments, not talking about fixed costs, when I plotted them on the chart, they were so minuscule that they did not show up. So I just chose the larger three. So we'll have an eyeball comparison instead of trying to figure out where they were fitting on the chart.
So we can put together a chart that shows those big three, because that's close to 90% of the operating budget is allocated to those three operations.
That sounds great to me.
Ready? Let me just make the verbiage change here.
So do we want to change the second paragraph?
Yes, that's what I'm doing now, Lillian.
Okay.
So police and Department of Public Works. And then Mark, you and or Gareth are fine doing that instead of what you were going to do, correct?
Correct. Yes, we'll do that.
I still want to put in a plug for the big three, because I think those are the major components of the budget. And this is what we have traditionally done. And I think it's important to show that schools still is the biggest cost. followed by fixed costs, followed by municipal. I think visually it's important for us to see that. But I may be the only person who thinks that.
Let me ask, aside, but would I don't know what the numbers will look like for either of these comparisons. Would the reader come away with a different conclusion if the point's going to be how important the education budget is and how it dominates? Would you draw a different conclusion, or it would just be a different basis to make the same point?
I think it's an apples to oranges comparison. You're saying the school's budget is, somewhere above 80 million. Well, not really. It's really actually more than that because of the green bar there, the fixed costs.
Right.
So it's kind of an apples to
it's
oranges
not
thing.
included. The fixed costs of the schools are not in there.
That's what I'm saying. So you're
There
showing
is-
schools without their fixed costs. So I would prefer to see it, fixed costs is, you have schools, you have the cops, and then you have fixed costs, which applies to everything else. And that's just not the same thing as an operating department.
But it's a significant part of the budget.
I don't disagree with that. That's not what you're trying to show here. What you're trying to show here is that we spend more on education as an activity in the town rather than for police, recreation, or whatever. And follow me, it's like,
Well, as we get into that though, Tom, you have schools, and then we've got a report on police, and we've got a report on DPW.
Right.
So those numbers do show up in the report.
right. But again, the title is commitment to education. And you're saying that, this is how much we spend on education versus fixed costs, but those fixed costs are part of education, and probably are 60% of those fixed costs should be applied to education. Do you see
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's like you're not comparing apples to apples.
Yep. I find the argument compelling because it's
But if you do that, it's going, you're going to have the little blue education far above any of the other departments.
I'm not saying allocate the costs across for showing this. I'm just saying do a comparison of schools to police and to the third biggest operating activity. The third biggest operating activity is what? DPW? Is that about the same as police?
No, about 5 million less, 6 million less.
Okay, so you'll have the red bar and then you'll have a slightly smaller green bar.
right.
Well, do we need to say that the town is committed to education? We know this. We know this historically because, they get 60% of the budget.
Right. Right. I mean, you're right, Lillian, that in a sense, you're saying, well, since we've decided they have 60% of the budget, it's already, it's a done deal. So maybe you don't need the chart, but given
Yeah,
it's there, I don't think it's.
We're really, it's a given that we're committed to education. So the first sentence is not necessary.
And if you looked
The
at,
Ben Franklin sentence or the.
I will follow up that comment. If you looked at almost any community in Massachusetts, this chart's going to look the same. I mean, the funds that are allocated to any education for most communities are always the highest area of the budget, followed by usually your public safety operations and your public works. So maybe you don't need it. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that we don't need it at all. I think we could take out that second paragraph and take out the bar chart.
All right. Let's see here.
It's a
All
given.
right.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would either take it out or, you know, consistent with Jackie's first comment, you know, as opposed to the point being that we're committed to education, just giving people a relative feel for the financial commitment of three different the three largest departments. If that would be news to somebody, you know, I like that as an editor, I like that the bar chart kind of breaks up the text a little. And if what it says would be of any value, then, you know, I have no hesitation at all to do as Jackie suggested. But if you kind of said, Chuck, everybody knows this and everybody knows it dwarfs the other two, then I'm with you, Lily, and that we're not telling anybody anything they don't already know.
Right. If you really want to show how big education is with relation to the budget, then you love these little bar charts that have education and municipal. That's it.
It could just be a pie chart, education 60%, 40%, everything else.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, as that's right. But I think it's not necessary.
All right.
I move we take it out.
And if we're okay with that, then I will drop it now.
So we'll take out that second paragraph and the chart. And the bar
Correct.
chart.
Yep.
Okay. So then we can start with the summary.
All right. I'm just gonna, there we go.
Okay. Where are we? Ah,
Whoops, sorry. I have to fix the spacing now that we've taken that up, but I'll do that later.
that first sentence says addresses a number of goals. And then you should have a colon instead of the comma, and take out including, supporting, colon,
Yep.
the goals of. In other words, goals, colon, starting with district improvement plan. Because you've got goals and it's just repetitious.
Yep, understand.
So it would be the district improvement plan, needs of the students, blah, blah, blah.
Yep,
Okay,
got it.
okay.
All right.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we're down to I have to get to 2 out of the building maintenance thing.
Yeah,
This is going to test Tom's rolling his eyeballs, but this is going to test my.
I will take it out. I'll take it out for you and send a new chart to you.
All right. And I think if you're going to do that, Jackie, it's somewhere on the left-hand vertical axis, we should have a $sign. Like
Okay.
total in $sign millions.
Okay, I'll do that.
Maybe I missed this, but wouldn't this be better as a bar chart as opposed to a line?
See how utility, building maintenance, those are flat. I don't think they would show up well on the bar chart. That's why I chose the line graph.
Okay.
Because
The
it's-
line
it
graph usually
carries-
should show trends. I don't think this shows a trend. It's just, if I'm saying,
I do understand. The reason I chose it was because the others would not show up.
Okay.
It would show, it would not show up, so I chose this one because it actually showed the impact that I wanted, that they were all down on that line.
show, so if we want, because I think Tom's right, I tend to read these things from left to right when I see a line, as opposed from up and down. If we stretched out, we have a little more room now. If we stretched out the vertical height, would it do a better job of having bars pop up for curriculum, custodial services?
Let me work on that. Let me
Okay.
work on making a bar chart. I'll send you both of them, and then you can make the choice of.
yeah,
which
the other
one-
thing you might want to do is collapse categories. So custodial services, building maintenance, and utilities probably could all be the same thing, right? Just you add them together, and then
Right.
that's right, because those are really all parts of the same thing, which is, occupancy costs.
And they're
So
about the
custodial
same
service-
anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would make more sense, and then do it as a bar chart.
And then
Yeah.
what would be the label for just call them utilities?
Occupancy costs.
Occupancy cost. Okay.
That's a good one.
And what is the chart trying to tell someone? What's the point?
What is-
Highlights of the school's operating budget. Where does the school itself allocate most of its cost?
I mean, what I read from it, I think, is that the schools spend a lot more on personnel than non-personnel cost, and that the
Yeah.
highest expense is teachers,
Yeah.
and very, very little on curriculum, which is really interesting.
Captured it.
So yeah, I mean, your teacher costs seem to me to be not only the biggest expense, but a bigger expense than everything else combined.
Correct.
Well, that would be expected.
Yeah. I also wonder whether you might, the sorting of this, I don't understand the sorting of it, but why is leadership second, curriculum first, and so on? It's not alphabetical. I mean, I guess what I would have done is put the biggest number first, and so people could read down.
So start with teachers and then specialist teachers, blah, blah, blah.
Right, right.
Yep.
What is leadership? Are those
Principals,
principals?
That I would guess that principal and superintendent.
That would be the the main office.
With the super's office as well as the
Yeah.
principal offices of each of the schools. Yeah. I seem to recall from the school's budget that was pretty clearly laid out.
What is therapeutic?
I'm guessing that's not health services. That's a good question.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
That
what
like
that
guidance
is.
counselors or
No, it's
I
like
don't see guidance in here. Oh, I do. Yeah, guidance is there.
oh,
So I
there
don't
is
know.
guidance, yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
have guidance, yeah.
it's like occupational therapy or they're like specialty services for kids on IEPs.
Okay, so it's sped costs. Okay.
Now, is this budget for fiscal 25?
Yeah,
Should we put that at the top?
Yep, I'll put that in.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Morning, Jackie.
Hi, I'll be in a little bit. I'll be right there.
All right.
The first paragraph's fine. The second paragraph, I've got a question. It supports a total of 5,306 students. Does that include the students who are educated outside of our district?
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay.
I thought that was the, as I read it, Lillian, and it would be good to just say this to make sure. I assume that's the foundation budget number. And so it's the head count that we could be responsible for. But actual students, kids in seats is going to be less than that.
Right.
Because of choices to, go elsewhere. So there's the foundation budget based on what you could be responsible for. And then there's who's actually sitting in schools.
Gotcha.
And I did find, Mark sent it to me, I did find in the presentation what the actual numbers were. So the actual numbers, what Sarah said was they were down 21 students year over year this year, and they expect to be about flat next year relative to this year in actual kids in seats. And I think K through 3 was going up a little, but 4 and up was going down a little. And so it was netting out to about flat.
Okay, so we've got those numbers.
Yep.
Okay. Now, should school district be capitalized? Like school operating budget? I don't think operating budget needs to be capitalized,
Okay.
and I don't think school district needs to be capitalized.
All right.
Okay.
well, okay, like school department is capitalized, and that's pretty conventional. Is the
School
district different
district?
from this? Is the school district different from the school department? Or is the district just what it covers? Is that the geography? Then I think I agree. Yeah,
But I to your point though, Tom, I think in this case, looking at the, second to last sentence of that paragraph, I think district and department are interchangeable. I don't think the geography.
I think you probably want to use the word department, school department.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's more accurate.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Now, under analysis and comments, which really is the crux of this report, when we met with Sarah, she had 3 major themes. One was to retain the ESSER positions. 2 was ELL support, and 3 was special ed. So I'm thinking that we should bold the ESSER, that elementary and secondary school education relief, ESSER funds, just to designate that we are responding to her major themes.
Right. It should just be a little title for each one of them. ESSER, and then
I think it should be bolded so that they'll know, this is issue number 1, and then because the second one is ELL, and then the third one is special needs. So I think we should mark it some way so that people who read it will realize that we have taken this into account, and we have given it a special analysis and evaluation.
All righty. I will note that, Lillian, and then figure out if we should have an intro phrase, colon, and then the
Yeah.
stuff, or just highlight it in the middle of the paragraph.
Yeah, I just think that we need to highlight it some way
Yep.
to indicate that we recognize the superintendent's major themes.
Yep. Okay, got it.
Okay. I think to provide relief from the effects of the pandemic that closed our schools in 2020. Do we need COVID?
Nope.
I would just say from the effects of the pandemic that closed the schools.
Nope. Okay.
I'm sustained, that's good. We don't have this. I picked this up from Jim's draft. He says the requirement of the funding is that each district set aside 20% of its allocation to address lost instructional time. And I don't see that here.
I think I took it out, Lillian, well, I know I took it out because I wasn't sure what the point was. I mean, I understand the sentence.
Yeah, well, basically it's a description of what that fund is. If you don't think we need to have it, we don't have to have it. I'm looking at Jim's draft.
Oh yeah, I know where you got it from, and I'm the one who took it out.
Okay.
Because it was not additive to me, and I don't feel strongly about it. It's just I was just trying to get words down here. So
why don't we? Okay, so why don't we? The next sentence says they were initially made available in 2022. So why don't we just say it was initiated in 2022? Initiated in 2022, the ESSER funds will expire in September of 2024.
Okay, hang on.
I don't think we need to say it was made available. I think if initially made available, if you just say it was initiated in that particular year, and it will expire.
Okay.
It just tightens it up a little bit.
All right.
Lillian, I need to be excused from the meeting. If there is anything that, would you be willing to send it to me by email if there's anything else that I need to do?
Sure. Thank you very much for all your help.
You're welcome.
All right.
A portion of the grants were used. It's a portion of the grants was used.
Was used. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm knitting now.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I figured this is our last chance to go over it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm good with that. And again, if you could highlight the ELL in this next paragraph.
Yep, I have it highlighted there, and I have special
Okay,
needs two
sounds great.
paragraphs.
All
Yep.
right. Yeah, that's good. I have no changes.
The
Okay.
the paragraph at the top of the next page, it starts for context.
Yeah, I noticed that. What does it?
Jackie got me some funky numbers. I'm sorry she had to drop off because the numbers she gave me, I can find them. Sorry, I've already got 3 screens going, and now I got to get a 4th one going. So
Yeah, I sent you what I had from 24. Was I think it was 82% of the ELLs were also EDs.
yeah, that I'm okay with.
Okay, you got that part.
Yep, that I'm okay with. What I wasn't clear on was there was a year-over-year drop. Darn it. No, I can't find my note.
So do
I'm
we
gonna-
have the numbers for 25 for the ELL and EDs?
No,
No.
that was one thing
Okay.
Jackie was going to
Okay.
get me.
Okay.
Darn.
Are you making a note to send it to her? She asked us to let her know what else needed to be researched.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just make sure. Yeah. Yes, I will do that. But the challenge I have here is I couldn't do the number because she gave me raw numbers that she said she got from. Is it Chris Dewey?
Chris Dwelly, yeah.
And I can't. I'm for some reason I can't locate the email I sent, but the numbers made no sense. I'm going to wing this, but in FY24, 21% were
of Barstable's total student enrollment was
right, but
21%.
no,
yeah.
right. But hang on, no, but I'm making a different point. 21% were ELL and 54% were ED. But
Right.
what she then told me was that in 25, the ED number drops to like 18%. And I said, I don't see how that can happen.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, that does
And
not
so
make
I can't fill in the blank without the wrong numbers. So
right.
And she didn't respond before the meeting. I was hoping she was going to bring that to the meeting. So I will follow up.
That. I think I might strike that paragraph. I'm not sure what that's doing for you. But so you yeah.
Yeah, that
I would
may
agree.
not-
If it's
that-
not
that
really
may not be-
clear,
that
I would
may-
get rid of it. You know, if you're not sure what numbers are what, I mean, is it really contributing anything to the?
What the
Section.
the significance of this is that
Have another meeting.
last year there was such a huge increase in ELL and ED. So we just wanted to know what changes are taking place in fiscal 25. The only reasons there is because it took such a huge jump last year. And we wanted, and the question we asked Jackie is, did the numbers stay the same? Did they go up? Did they go down? Because, it was such a huge increase is worth our knowing. Where is this population going? That's
Right,
the,
but then just to
that's
have
the-
that raw information there, if there's nothing else
yeah, we need,
added
we
to
need
it,
this,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
what does that mean? If you put those numbers in there, if there's a dramatic decrease, like she's saying, potentially, what does that mean then? How do we analyze that? And what does that mean for the budget? Like it's incomplete even if you fill in those numbers, I think. It would need
Well,
to be
yeah,
expanded upon. What's the effect on the budget and what does that mean to the town,
yeah,
Right.
and that's the note I sent her was, I assume the point she was trying to make putting these in here is that they're changing or they're not, but whatever the numbers are, it has an impact on budget and costs.
Right.
If the percentages go up markedly, I assume our costs go up, and I assume somehow, the allocations to the town reflect the increase.
Exactly.
But I didn't get any of that. I just got the raw numbers. And so I'll ask her for the numbers. I'll see if they make any sense. If they're relatively flat, then I'm kind of defaulting to what Tom said. And, I suppose.
Well,
Well,
it impacts the amount of money that we get from the state.
right.
Yeah,
But if it doesn't change a lot, is it worth taking a bullet, using a bullet to
yeah,
explain? Or do we just say, we don't expect the percentages are going to change markedly from FY24 to FY25
Yeah.
and just leave it at that? I will make a note to follow up.
but these two categories are a substantial percentage of the student population.
Yep.
That's the noteworthy part of it.
Yep.
Okay,
All right. Oh, I got to post it. Sorry. There we go. Okay.
okay, and then this is the special needs, which is that third category. Oh, this looks good. Are you putting in the cost savings amount here? I think
Oh, yes, I have a number.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the number that I have, and again, I wish I could find the doggone email from Jackie, but I just took Jackie's number. She said she got numbers from
Chris,
the school department that said cost savings totaled 4.3 million. There were some from retirements and attrition. There was a fairly small amount from reduction in supply expenses. And then there was another significant piece from the allocation of past year's savings.
what was that last one?
The use of savings.
Oh,
But they had categorized retirement and attrition, reduction in supply expenses, and use of existing savings balance as three different contributors to the overall offset. So I just assume, since it came from the school department, that's how they think about this.
well, if you use the savings to offset the ESSER, that's not a cost saving. I do agree that the retirements and the decrease in the supplies are actual cost savings. I think the retirement was 1.6 million and the supplies were 250,000 or something like that.
Yep. And I
Yeah,
can, new comment. So I can split those out and drop the savings comment from the number
Yeah.
and just have them be true cost savings.
Chuck and I apologize to the rest of you. We have been living and breathing this school report for days, for weeks.
We have, Lillian.
We have been.
Okay. Okay, so I will make a note and I will do that. I will find the email and
Yeah.
just adjust the numbers.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. I think once we get through schools, this should whip right along.
I think so. I hope so.
All right.
Concerns look good.
Okay. Here's the one thing. I don't know if Mark is still on. I don't. I don't like the last. I don't like the last sentence. The last
Minimum
sentence.
contribution? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's
Yeah,
that's not the minimum contribution, that's the local required contribution, is what that should say.
Okay, so the
The,
state.
the local required.
Local required, if you look at the table down below where it says town contribution, that's where the 63.9 million is coming from.
Right.
Reference.
So is it accurate to say, Mark, that the state requires a minimum local contribution from the town? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. So
So
let's
turn required into a verb.
Okay.
yeah, the state requires a local minimum contribution from the town.
Got it.
Right.
But I'm still going to drop the last sentence unless people think. The problem is you don't get that number from any of the numbers we put out there. You don't get that number.
16,735, you mean?
Nope, it doesn't work. If
Well,
you
let's
take
just-
the 60.
Again, I'm
I
not
think-
sure what it adds, so I would drop it.
Okay,
Yeah, just take it out. Take everything out in the paren.
all right. Okay,
Because we can't prove it.
okay.
I have a question about the next bullet.
Yeah.
It says, Chapter 70 funding did not keep pace with inflation.
Right.
Is that true?
Yeah, well, I think it's true technically. I think the point Jackie was trying to make here was that Chapter 78 went up 0.6%. Inflation for that same time period arguably was up somewhere between 3 and 4.5. So it didn't keep pace. You know, just general CPI was up, you know, 5 or
Gotcha.
6 or 7 times what the aid number went up.
Right, gotcha.
And schools, by the way,
Okay,
needs
schools would need a
apostrophe after it.
parenthesis, would need an apostrophe.
Yep.
It will drain the school's reserve funds,
Yep,
apostrophe, yeah,
yep.
okay.
Is it helpful at all to note how much the school has in reserve funds at all? Do we know that number?
Yes, like 10 million or something. Oh, going back up, is it
Yeah.
foundational enrollment or foundation enrollment? Line 4 under concerns.
You would know.
Very good. I think it's foundation.
I think it is foundation.
Nope, good catch, Lillian. My
There-
eyeball's ready to pop
There are
out of
two
my
of
head on
them. Yeah, they're both on line 4.
the marginal return to every time I read this thing goes down and down. So All right. All right.
Okay. Okay.
And I assume that the foundation enrollment number minus the 420 we cite in the first paragraph would roughly get you to the number of kids and seats for the year. You know, it's not going to be perfect math, but directionally.
Right.
So I think it's a good point to make.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was 4,800 something last year. But I don't know what the projection for this year is. Okay.
Sorry, I did have, if Mark, if you go down to the conclusion section, I had a comment there. I don't understand the sentence. These projections data will enable more accurate future changes to state aid enrollment trends, necessary student support resources. There's a word that either needs to change or be added. If we have good forecasts, that doesn't enable more accurate future changes to state aid. It might, doesn't, it might drive state aid. It might, or is the point that the better our forecasts are, the more likely our forecasts are to match our needs as reflected in what we get from state aid?
Yeah, I agree with you there.
The sentence is just clunky to me. So
Yeah, I agree.
if you don't disagree it's clunky, then I'll leave my comment in and I'll take a shot at changing it.
It's funky. Change
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
make some wordsmithing on it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then I'm done with schools. That doesn't mean you are, but I am.
At least for tonight.
At least for tonight. Yes,
Yeah.
Lillian, you know, you need a break from schools once in a while.
No, we'll get some more tomorrow, I'm sure.
We
Okay.
will.
This one is perfect. I have nothing. I have only praise for this one.
Whoever wrote this is doing schools next year.
It was a
Chris.
really good job.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Congratulations.
take the praise when you can get it.
Quick and easy. Let's keep
All
on
right.
trucking.
All right. Same with the police. It's clear. Well
Yep.
done. Enterprise funds.
Enterprise fund. So Lillian, my only question was, you see the things that Mark, can you go down like 2 more lines? There we go.
Where are we?
Whoops, go back up a little. Sorry. I need to see the 2. There we go. I need to see the yellow thing. So shouldn't those numbers match? Shouldn't the numbers in the paragraph match the
Yes,
numbers
it
in the
should
table?
match. Yes, it should match.
But they don't. So
No, but you
Well, they did. They've been changed in the
yeah,
table. They
it
haven't been
was
changed in the paragraph.
if you look at the ones that are crossed out at the bottom, Chuck, the new numbers should be
okay,
transferred to that upper part.
that's cool.
You see?
I unfortunately I don't have Mark's read it out copy anymore. For whatever reason, I can't see the old numbers. I only see what's in the table. So
Okay.
I will
So
make the change right now.
so the yellow part before the table, fiscal 25 should read 50 million.
Oh yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I know what
Okay.
I'm doing. I just didn't know what
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't know which one was right, and I was too
no.
lazy to do the math.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'll get rid of the yellow highlights. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
And then I don't think I
These-
had any other comments.
No.
All
I
the
think the
numbers.
person who wrote this knows what she's doing.
Thank you. Oh, darn.
Finish. That's all. All right. All right. That was the end of, we might need a space there.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
before
And just
conclusion, you need a space.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, my spacing is different because
Right.
in my thing, conclusion starts on a new page.
Yeah.
Okay,
And when yeah. Fixed costs. Again, these are the corrected numbers.
yep.
Right.
thing about fixed costs, there's not much you can do
Yeah.
except regret them.
Okay.
All right. All right. And then I'm just checking one number here. Million. So, sorry, Lillian. I highlighted the, oh, that's what I did. Got it. Never mind. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good. Sorry, I just have to space up and down.
Yeah.
It takes me. Okay,
They're all new numbers.
good. Yep.
Okay.
And then, oh, okay. I'll wait till Mark pages down. Looking ahead,
Yeah, this is good.
I don't have any comments on, well, I don't have any comments on the last two pages.
No.
And thank you to Mark and Gareth for updating the CWMP resources. That was good.
Yes. How did we get back up here? What are we doing?
There we go.
Yep.
So that's it.
That's it.
Fantastic. Good job.
So, whoops, I'll go back on video. So I will take care of the things that I noted and said I would. I will send Jackie a note and I'll just copy you, Lillian, so you can see what I sent her
Okay.
to ask about those couple of things that I think we need numbers for. And then let me see, our meeting is Monday, correct?
Mhm.
Right.
Right. So I will send this out well in advance of Monday. I will shoot for, what's today, Thursday? No, today's Wednesday. I will shoot for Friday or Saturday. So the
Sounds
people have 48 hours to give it a look, since we're going to review it with the entire CFAC group. And then hopefully we get, go ahead.
Will the version that's shown to the entire group be the clean version or redlined?
No, it'll be a clean version.
I
Clean.
hope it's going to be clean.
Okay, and who does a final edit? You know,
This
kind of-
was it.
I mean, a proofread.
Well, Chuck and I will go through it one more time. Would you like to volunteer?
I mean, I'm happy to do it after the two of you have done it. I mean, it always helps to have another set of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just for capitalization. I mean, really stupid
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just tightening up a couple of sentences here and there, you know.
Yeah.
Making
And then I
sure,
think,
making sure the verbs match the noun, that kind of thing.
I mean, subject verb agreement is extremely important, Lillian.
Thank
and,
you.
and then I think, Mark, to Tom's point, I think the actual final formatting is probably something that we give you something that we think looks good on paper, but then you have to actually get it printed. And so you may have to play around with
Yeah.
where
well, we
things
can
drop
do-
and where pages break and that
Yeah,
stuff.
page breaks and things like that, and yeah, we can do the final formatting
Okay.
of the report, and we'll go through it one more time, Chuck, just to verify all the numbers. Make sure that they agree to the budget book, which just came out today, and has been posted onto the town's website. Lillian, we will get you a hard copy.
Thank you.
Anybody else that wants a hard copy, just let me know. We'll get one printed up for you. But you can see that the entire budget document has been posted to the town's website.
Good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So Chuck, when you get version 6 or 7, you'll send it to me and to Tom, and we'll go over it one more time. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think that's it for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So correspondence from committee members? Communication from staff?
Nothing this evening.
All right. Any other matters anybody wants to talk about? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all righty. Lillian,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and Chuck is yes. So we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, for
Thank
your
you
time.
very much.